This is the list of people the world has decided can never walk free again. Who are they? What did they do? And why will their prison doors stay shut forever? Stay till the end, each story gets darker, and the last one is the most unbelievable. Number 10. Charles Manson.
Charles Manson was sentenced to die in San Quentin's gas chamber for the Tate LaBianca murders. Within a year, Californians did away with capital punishment, so Manson's sentence was commuted to life in prison.
Charles Manson became the face of pure manipulation. Leading the deadly Manson family cult in 1969, he convinced his followers to commit brutal murders that shocked America. Even though he didn't physically kill anyone, his influence and planning were undeniable. Manson showed no real remorse, often smiling or making bizarre statements in court. His crimes were so horrifying that society agreed he should never walk free again. Courts denied his parole repeatedly, calling him too dangerous and unpredictable. Manson spent the rest of his life behind bars, a symbol of how one person's twisted control can destroy countless lives.
Because I'm not the guy you trying to make out of me. That's not me. I don't know what my way is. Everybody keeps telling me I got all these things. I read the other day where I had magical powers, and I told everybody in the chapel, I said, zap, 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 zap.
Number 9. Richard Night Stalker Ramirez.
One of America's most notorious serial killers died this morning in a California hospital. Richard Ramirez, better known as the Night Stalker.
Richard Ramirez terrorized California in the 1908 with a series of extremely violent home invasions and murders. His crimes were random, cruel, and carried out with no pattern, making him even more terrifying. When he was finally caught, he showed no guilt and even celebrated the attention. The courtroom heard details so dark that the judge declared Ramirez a permanent danger to society. Sentenced to death, he knew he'd never see freedom again. His actions left an entire state shaken, and his behavior proved he was someone who could never return to the public. Ramirez died in prison decades later.
They choose not to, not because they are morally superior as they so commonly claim, but because they are imprisoned in a web of responsibilities, commitments.
Number 8. Dennis Rader, BTK Killer.
He lives a double life. He doesn't fit the profile of what we would have expected for the BTK Killer.
Dennis Rader lived a double life, church leader by day, the BTK Killer by night. For years, he terrorized Kansas, sending letters to police and bragging about his crimes. His ability to hide in plain sight shocked the nation. When he was finally caught, he described his actions with chilling calmness, as if they were chores. Because his crimes were so brutal, the court ensured he would never be released, sentencing him to 10 consecutive life terms. Rader showed he planned, enjoyed, and relived every crime, making him the kind of offender who can never safely return to society.
No, that was part of my, I guess my what you call fantasy. These people were selected.
Number 7. Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber.
With each new detonation, the bomber learned a little more about bombs, and law enforcement learned a little more about the man who sent them. Because its targets were universities and airlines, the FBI called him the Unabomber.
Ted Kaczynski carried out a nationwide bombing campaign for nearly 20 years, attacking universities, airlines, and individuals he believed represented modern society. He lived alone in a cabin, crafting explosives and sending them through the mail. His bombs killed and injured multiple people, creating fear across America. Even after his arrest, he showed no desire to change his beliefs. Because of the long-term planning, the danger he posed, and his lack of remorse, he was sentenced to life with no parole. His actions proved he was someone who could never be safely released into the world again. Number 6. Joaquin El Chapo Guzman.
News. Joaquin Guzman Lopez, alias El Guerrero, one of Chapo Guzman's sons, will plead guilty to at least one drug trafficking charge this Monday, December 1st Street. We're connecting at the last minute with our colleague Angel Hernandez in the United States.
El Chapo was one of the most powerful and violent drug lords in history, leading the Sinaloa cartel with fear and brutality. He escaped prison twice, once through bribery and once through a mile-long tunnel dug straight into his cell. His escape showed he had both the power and resources to disappear forever. When he was finally captured and extradited, the US gave him life without parole in a maximum security prison designed to be escape-proof. His global influence, violent history, and ability to vanish made it clear he should never step outside prison walls again. Number 5. Aileen Wuornos.
Fighting the demons within me that kept saying, don't tell the truth, I want you to go to hell with me. And I said, no way, man, I'm going to the Lord Jesus Christ, I'm going to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Aileen Wuornos was one of the most infamous female serial killers in the United States. She shot and killed multiple men, claiming it was self-defense, but the evidence told a different story. Her emotional state in court, swinging between anger, fear, and frustration, showed instability that worried even experienced professionals. She admitted to the murders and said she would kill again if released, making the decision clear: she could never return to society. Wuornos received the death penalty and spent the rest of her life behind bars, proving that some cases leave no possibility for release.
You can believe it or you don't have to believe it. That's up to you, man. Put a big question mark on your film.
Number 4. Robert Hansen, the Butcher Baker.
I'm talking about Robert Hansen. And Robert Hansen, also known as the Butcher Baker of Alaska. He's an American serial killer who was active between 1971 and 1983.
Robert Hansen hunted his victims in the most terrifying way imaginable. Living in Alaska, he kidnapped women, flew them into the wilderness, and released them only to track them down like prey. His crimes were planned with extreme cruelty. When he was finally caught, investigators uncovered a map marking where he buried his victims. The level of violence and cold calculation left no room for mercy. Hansen was sentenced to 461 years with no chance of parole. His actions were so disturbing that releasing him was never even considered. He spent the rest of his life in prison. Number 3. Jeffrey Dahmer.
He is pure evil, but you'd never know it by looking at him. But when you hear him, that's another story. His killing field was Milwaukee, and he got away with murder for more than a decade. But how could any of this happen? For the first time ever?
Jeffrey Dahmer committed crimes so disturbing that even seasoned detectives were shocked. He lured men to his apartment, where he carried out acts that went far beyond murder. The details of his case horrified the nation and exposed years of missed warning signs. Dahmer showed a chilling calmness as he described his actions, making it clear he was a danger unlike any other. His sentence, multiple life terms, ensured he would never leave prison. The nature of his crimes guaranteed there was no possibility of rehabilitation or release. Dahmer's story remains one of the darkest in criminal history.
I desensitized myself to it.
Number 2. Ed Kemper.
9-inch-tall man named Edmund Kemper towered over his peers, and most considered him to be a gentle giant. No one in his life could have imagined that he would murder 6 teenage girls hitchhiking through Santa Cruz, California.
Ed Kemper, known as the Co-Ed Killer, carried out a series of murders with disturbing intelligence and planning. He targeted young women, but his crimes didn't stop there. He also killed members of his own family. What terrified investigators most was his calm, polite personality and his ability to describe every detail without emotion. Kemper even turned himself in, knowing he could not control himself. He openly said he should never be released, and experts agreed. His life sentence without parole reflects the extreme danger he poses. Kemper remains one of the clearest examples of a criminal who must stay behind bars forever. Number 1. Anders Breivik.
In the Anders Behring Breivik case. Breivik was responsible for killing 77 people in Norway.
Anders Breivik committed one of the deadliest attacks in modern history, killing 77 people in Norway in a shocking, carefully planned act of terrorism. The scale of destruction, the targeting of children, and his complete lack of remorse made the world realize he is someone who can never safely re-enter society. Even though Norway's system typically allows eventual release, Breivik's case is the rare exception. His sentence allows indefinite extensions, meaning he will stay behind bars for life. Experts agree he remains extremely dangerous, both ideologically and emotionally. His actions permanently sealed his fate. He will never be free again.